Hi, sinners. We just want to say thank you to Annie from New York and
Trisha from Florida.
thank you guys. You're the best. Thank you for always sharing the podcast, giving us your opinions, suggesting books. Really, we appreciate it a lot. And we couldn't be here without you saying all of these things. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
We don't exist without you guys. So every time that you interact with us, it fuels us like magic.
Or Tambling during the Kalangmai parties. Like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you interacting with us is like us fucking a rando on Calenmai. It's just
Thank
it
you very
gives
much.
back to the earth.
It gets back, it's just it's a cycle and we love it. Thank you sinners, you're the best. And as always, remember to follow us on all of social medias everywhere. We are as at Come With Us Pod
Pod.
pod at the end. You're gonna see it right here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to share your story, if you want to say hi, if you want to say I just got the best present ever, I just read the best book ever, and you guys need to too, the email for that is comewithuspodofficial@gmail.com. And you can always find a link that says free nudes or submit your story in our website, www.comewithuspod.com. Thank you, Senior. Enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome to Come With Us, a podcast to meet all your fantasy needs. I'm Sussy Nunez.
And I'm Reshea Kelly, and each week we dive into the tempting world of books, seductive romance, and a sprinkle of spice.
Welcome to episode 8 of Come With Us, your new favorite podcast, and you know it. I'm Sussy Nunez, Surreal's bestie, white shoes lover, if you know, you know, and certified witch bitch. It is what it is.
And I am Reshea Kelly, Morgan Elain shipper, Crescent City fanatic, and all-time Nesta stan.
And we love
Nesta
it.
forever.
Yes.
Today, we have a new friend joining us to discuss one of the best books of the ACOTAR series, A Court of Wings and Ruin. She has a TikTok account dedicated to Sarah J. Maas books, and soon we'll have a podcast out focusing on the Maasverse as well.
Yes. Say hello and welcome to Shannon Adams. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
I'm so excited. You guys, this is so random. Like, she's here because she commented on one of our videos on TikTok. And I was like, you need to come to the podcast. Or I commented on one of your videos, I think. And she's like, oh my God, yes. Because she's planning on a podcast. Like, oh my God, we have a podcast about books. And then it just happened. She's here now. It is what it is.
It was like magic. It was meant to be.
Like magic. We're channeling Ariana Grande right now.
So, Shannon, every week we ask a question to each other. And with our special guests, we don't make it a weekly thing, but more of like a period in your life thing. So, our question for you is, if your life was a book, what would the name of this chapter be?
I think it would be called Transformations.
Ooh.
Tell
a little
me
bit
more.
Of paranormal. I like it.
Yeah, well, I just moved to Florida. So I moved from Pennsylvania to Florida. So that's a transformation.
Oh.
Yeah. And now.
On purpose.
Yes, on purpose. That seems to be everyone's response. Like, oh, why would you do that? But
because you're a big woman. You're a grown-ass woman and you know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, exactly. But my purpose for moving was that my boyfriend lived here already. He moved here a year and a half ago, and it was my turn to move down. So now we live in a house together. So
nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have another guest who we recorded. She's gonna be on episode 6. She lives in Pennsylvania too. Isn't that crazy?
Is it?
Oh, cool.
Chelsea?
I think it was Philly. Isn't it Philly?
That's in Pennsylvania. It's okay. Listen, your education did not center American geography because you weren't in America, and that's fine.
Honestly, either way, you can ask me anything about anywhere, and I will be very bad at geographical things. It's just not my thing. It's okay.
Fair.
Okay. I'm
you know
from
what my thing
here
is?
and I don't know where things are.
Kinks. Exactly. Yeah. Shannon gets it. Okay, I love it, Shannon. How would you qualify yourself? Like, what was the word that you would use about Sarah J. Maas and the Maasverse?
what I'm gonna call myself is a self-proclaimed Sarah J. Maas theorist. That's how
Theorist.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Self-proclaimed. I
that.
love that. Heck
Yeah,
yes, heck yes, heck
self-proclaimed.
yes. So if you have to pick a book, your favorite book from SJM, which one would it be?
Well, if it's in the original trilogy, it has to be A Court of Mist and Fury.
Okay.
But if we're including, because when I read them, I didn't know that it was going to go beyond the novella. So when A Court of Silver Flames came out, that one instantly became one of my favorites.
Heck yes.
But
As you freaking should.
But if we're talking the original trilogy, it's definitely the second one.
Nice.
So wait, are you saying that it was supposed to be only 3 books?
Well, I don't know, because I read them in 2020, and I found out while I was reading A Court of Thorns and Roses that the 4th one was coming out, and that was a surprise. So like, I didn't know that it was coming. I wasn't involved with like the book talk Sarah J. Maas community at that time, so it was a surprise, and I thought that was it. So I didn't know. But
and that's a book, Miss and Fury, right? Ako math. But if you have to choose a quote, and I know this is difficult, but if you have to choose a quote, which one would it be?
Oh, that is difficult without knowing.
Something that just goes to your mind the first time that you're like, oh my god, a quote from Sarah J. Maas. Which one would be?
Oh, I think my quote would actually be from ACOTAR, the first one, and that's when Feyre and Rhys meet for the first time, and he says, "Oh, there you are. I've been looking for you." That is like the best, because at the time you don't even know the significance of that.
Yes.
So it's just amazing.
Have you been to our website? Have you been to our website by any chance?
I have not.
Well, whenever you go, we have a hint, something like that for you. It's so good. It's so good. Yes, you definitely should go. If you're watching this or listening to us right now, go to a website and see if you can find it, what I'm talking about. Because she just said something about it. Go and find it and send us screenshots, because you're going to love it. You know you want to.
Proof.
So would you say that the A Court of Thorns and Roses series is your favorite of the Sarah J. Maas book series, or are you more of a Throne of Glass girl or a Crescent City girl?
I think A Court of Thorns and Roses is definitely my favorite, and then Crescent City is my second favorite, just because it's so off the wall different than the first two. So my secret, even though I'm a self-proclaimed theorist, is that I haven't completed Throne of Glass yet. So I'm reading it through for the first time before Crescent City 3 comes out. So that's my secret.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Well, now we have to expose you. We are journalists after all.
That's okay.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, we haven't read Throne of Glass either. We both own it and we're planning on reading it, but it's a big undertaking. It's 8 huge books, and we don't even know what the right order is.
I'm not gonna lie to you. To me, it's not that. I can eat 8 books in like nothing. Really, I know it. But it's just there's no smuts. And that is like my fuel, you know? Like, damn. I know that people in those books are like nice and whatever, and like the guys are beautiful and the women are beautiful too. But I'm like, I need a little bit of, something.
Yeah. So the first books, there's definitely none of that.
Okay.
But
yeah. But I mean, like book 4, right? They do like fade to black type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hint at it, but they don't tell you what happens.
But they have like kind of like a slow burnish type of situations.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's where the fanfics come in. You just got to go to Wattpad and just read all the fanfics.
Look, you maybe just saved it for me, because I have the whole collection. It's beautiful. I bought like an original thing, and it's so beautiful and it's crafty. And I just have it there collecting dust, because I'm not having the will enough to go read it because it's not smutty. But if I find the fan art with the books, I can do this. I definitely can do this.
You can do it. There's some pretty good fan art out there for
In fanfics.
later scenes. Yeah. Oh yeah, in the fanfics. But I haven't read them yet because I don't want to spoil myself accidentally, but they're out there.
You just did it for me. Heck yes. Why Sarah J. Maas for your podcast? And please tell us a little bit more about your podcast because we want to know the idea and why her specifically.
So to answer the first question, like why Sarah J. Maas, it's because she's so big right now. But also like when I read Sarah J. Maas the first time, I just read it and I didn't realize that there was all of these the Maasverse calls them breadcrumbs, like within each book. And that's where everyone says that Sarah J. Maas is better on the reread. And that's really true. And because it takes so much time to like go through and like find all of these pieces, that's why I wanted to make a podcast about it. So then I can help other people find the breadcrumbs and find the foreshadowing so they don't have to do it on their own.
I love that.
Genius idea.
I love that idea because I'm the kind of person who just misses it sometimes. Like, right over my head. There are some things that like because I read ACOTAR first and then I started reading Crescent City, I'm like waiting for Sussy to read those books because I'm like, this thing is also this thing and I'm pretty sure they're the same thing. And I'm like getting all excited about it.
And there's also, I'm finding that with Throne of Glass and Crescent City. I don't know if they're going to be tied in, but I'm finding similarities.
They probably are.
So,
Knowing Sarah
I
J.
think
Maas,
so.
they probably are going to be.
I think she like hinted one time that they're kind of, she said they're like in the same universe, but on different planets at different times and things like that.
Yeah.
And I went into all of them thinking like, oh, so in her head, they're all kind of like in the same universe, whatever, but different time periods. So they're never going to cross over or anything like that. But maybe there'll be like little like breadcrumbs here and there. And so anytime you find one, you're just like, ah. And so I think it's so smart for you to like have that as a whole podcast because I swear to God, I'm missing so many.
By the way, when are we gonna get the invitation? Because we haven't received that in the email. You know, like I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, so the goal is to do like 3 different types of episodes. So like the analysis episode where I go through like in depth, not the summary, but like what the breadcrumbs and the foreshadowing quotes are and how they relate to other books. And then like mini episodes that talk just about like one topic. So like what their names mean and how that relates to like the Maasverse or like the artifacts that they find, like the book and the cauldron, like how that relates to like the whole Maasverse. And then I want to do interview episodes where I talk to other people that have read the book, loved it, like what they found while they're reading, or people that don't like the book and what they didn't like about it. So
Love it.
I know there's so many people I've seen on my TikTok that like they're like, did I hate read all of ACOTAR? Yes. Did I hate read Crescent City? Yes. Am I gonna get the third one? Probably. Am I gonna hate it? Probably. I'm like, props to you. I can't read a book I hate.
Me neither.
Me either. DNF.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, all right. So, what was your first? Well, I'm assuming your first Sarah J. Maas book or Maas. I'm so bad at which one it is. So
it goes
was
either way.
was A Court of Thorns and Roses your first Sarah J. Maas book?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And then I read the whole series first before I picked up Throne of Glass. And I only read Throne of Glass to Heir of Fire. And then I stopped because Crescent City came out, and I just started reading that one, and I never picked it back up.
Gotcha.
But now
Okay.
I'm going to.
Nice. And did that like did the book affect you in any way? Because I know for a lot of people, these books are really significant to them because, you know, it got them out of their reading slump or it helped them realize that it's okay to read books that have sex in them or like what was that for you? Like, how did it affect you?
So when I was reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, it was actually during the pandemic. So I wasn't like out and about, like I was at my house, and like I feel like a lot of people during that time like fell into a sort of like depression, and it was these books that like gave me the escape and allowed me to like jump out of that. And I think that's why Sarah J. Maas's books mean so much to me, because they were that push to like help me get out of like the hole that I saw myself in. And that's why Nesta's story was so like impactful for me, because like she was going through that and I felt like I was going through that with her.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think we love Nesta because we all can relate to her in a way.
Mhm.
In so many
Yeah.
ways she has, right, to relate to her, but there's always something that you're gonna say, this is me. I see you in me, I see me in you, and this is why we connect. And you know how many women I ask, which one is your favorite from the whole Akatar series? And they always say Silver Flames because of Nesta. And I'm like, damn, it's not even the smut, it's just Nesta. And we
Her
love it.
character.
Yeah. The people who hate Nesta, I'm convinced, had like a healthy childhood and never had any kind of, you know what I'm saying?
No trauma.
Like, yeah, they don't have any trauma or they don't have any significant trauma and you're just like, what was it like with your parents? Were they divorced? You're like, no, my parents are still together. They're really great, you know? And like, they just had an okay life. And you're like, that's why you hate Nesta, because you don't understand how
You don't
somebody
understand
can
her.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us when your podcast is debuting and what's the like first episode, like what can we expect from it?
So the plan is to release the first episode on the next full moon. So it's funny that you said I give off witchy vibes, because that was my plan.
I love that.
Babes, we witches, we understand each other, we see each other. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so that's the plan, to release it on the full moon. I'm thinking a trailer, and then I'm gonna do an episode about Sarah J. Maas, because there's a lot to know about
Nice.
her, and there's a lot of like interviews that people might not have watched. I want to like bring that all to my audience. And then the first real episode is actually going to be about the first like 4 or 5 chapters, and like just deep diving into those and finding the breadcrumbs and the foreshadowing. There's so many that I don't even know if I'm going to make it to 5 chapters. It might be 3.
And you said
Well,
that's which book you're starting with?
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Okay, gotcha.
send links and send everything our way so we can share it everywhere so people can actually go and listen to, okay? Please
I
don't
want to
forget.
I want to listen
I
to it as
appreciate
well.
So bad. So freaking bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
With A Court of Thorns and Roses, what's your favorite part about it? Is it the world building or the war or is it the smut? Like what's your favorite bit of it?
You're talking about the
Mm.
series, right?
Yeah, sorry. The whole series.
I also thought the first book.
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay. But I think my favorite part is the world that she's built. And and not only that, but each character goes through their own like struggle, like their own story. It's not just about Feyre, it's about like all of the characters. It's even about Moore, it's about Cassian and Nesta and Azriel. Like you get all of their stories and like what like why they're even there, like why they're important. So
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it different from like any other like fantasy series. Even though it's Feyre's point of view, we get the character arcs of all of them. So it's the characters and it's the world building.
Nice.
Hey,
I'm
yeah.
sorry I laughed, by the way. I just realized that none of us were thinking about Elain.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I
Elaine
didn't.
is an ongoing joke
Yep.
on this podcast, to be honest with you.
I didn't mention Elain,
Like-
you're right.
Like we just get to see like the life story and all the struggles of all the characters, Cassian and Azriel and Nesta and
I wanted to ask
Feyre.
you, Reshea, I wanted to ask you why you were laughing so bad, but I didn't want to cut her. And I'm like, okay, wait until she finishes. I knew you were
So
going to say
sorry.
something like that.
So sorry. I'm so
I
sorry.
was like, she's probably, I thought you were thinking about either Feyre's dad, Elaine, or someone like that. And we're like, no, Elaine,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah. So, was Akatar your first smutty book or no?
No, my first smutty books were actually the 50 Shades series.
Oh,
There you go, girl.
nice.
Me
Okay.
too.
Yeah. hmm
10 years
Got it,
ago,
got
but
it,
yeah.
Yeah, like a while ago, like when I was in college, I read them and I was like, oh, like that's like I get what they're like, why they're popular. I was like, but they just kind of like weren't for me. And then I didn't fall back in love with that genre until I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses again and like
Mhm.
got through A Court of Silver Flames, and I was like, oh, like I actually do like this stuff. And I've
Yeah.
started to read a little bit more of them, but not many.
So, since you've read Silver Flames, and it's kind of like your favorite smutty books. That's the vibes that I'm getting. Which one is your favorite scene from the book? We just want to get an idea of what is your favorite scene from the book without saying much.
I think my favorite scene is definitely the bathtub scene. So like after like Nesta gets out of the bathtub and they like
Yeah.
Yes.
That's my
We're
favorite
here
one.
reminiscing. Yes. We get it, Shannon. We get it.
Yeah.
We need to clarify something, Reshea, from
Oh, sure, yeah.
the chapter before, remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay. We fucked up. And we are so sorry. We're a smut podcast, and we completely blew over and I wrote it down like this, the most iconic bad decision, taboo, indefensible fuck ever written.
Oh,
We completely
indefensible sinners. We cannot.
When they're like, when people are like dying in the background, and they're like, just how?
Yes.
We totally didn't realize that it was in that part of the book. Okay, and we were just like,
in our defense, we were very confused because a lot of shit happened in this book. To be honest, with a lot of wars, a lot of battles. So we thought that this happened at Hybern's war camp, but no, this happened when Adriata, right? It was Adriata.
Yeah, after Hybern attacked Adriata, or how you say it the right way, probably.
I have no idea, but that place, the summer court. No, was it the summer court? No, it wasn't.
It attacked the summer court, and then the Illyrians set up a base camp in the summer court.
Yes. So in our defense, we thought it was the second part of the book, not this part of the book. So Reshea, go ahead. Start your argument.
All right, listen. They were safe. They were not dying. I understand the relief of, holy shit, we didn't die. I get that. I get that Rhys was relieved that Feyre survived her first hand-to-hand combat. I get it. Feyre goes down on Rhys to give him a blowy and is like, I just hope that this little bit of life that we give will just stave off death for a little bit longer. And then the next, should I just read it? Oh my God, I have it marked. Absolutely insane.
We marked that yesterday because we were like, what the? Okay, so,
ready?
Guys, we thought this was happening again at the Hyphen workout, right? So we thought they were going to die the next day. And we were like, it's okay if they fought. It's normal. It should be happening. It wasn't. They were very much alive. So go ahead, Reshea.
But I tasted Rhys, worshipped him with my hands and mouth and then my body, and hoped that this shard of life we offered up, this undimming light between us, would drive death a bit further away, at least for another day. Next sentence. Ready? Only a few more Illyrians died during the night.
Only a few?
Sorry, Sergey Maas, but what were you thinking?
Shannon, do you remember reading that the first time?
I do, and I was completely mind blown. It was so off the wall, but you just reading that right now clicked something in my head. It brings me back to Calanmai when they are doing the like sex ritual and releasing the magic into the lands. It kind of that's what they were doing
with a blowjob. No, I get it. Yeah, no, you're right. Because like there is a connection between sex and magic and releasing magic into the world. I get that. I do.
Nor.
Poor timing.
Nor. I do not.
Terrible timing.
It sounded a little bit to me like Feyre was doing a little bit of justifying.
Dude, the last part. Only a few more Illyrians died during the night.
As if not a single Illyrian life is that important.
Like what?
Only a couple. It was only a couple.
No. That it really is indefensible. Like again, we thought it was gonna be after, so they were dying and stuff. No. It's just I don't know what I think she wanted to have a polemic. What's her name in that English? Like
Polyamorous? Nope.
No. When something is very controversial, I think she wanted to have a
Mm,
controversial
Oh,
moment, and that was
political.
the moment for it. She was just going through maybe some PMS in when she was like, "I hate everyone has to die, but I want
like
sex
just
too."
rebelling.
Yeah, something was happening because we don't understand. So going back, or actually going after, because it's the second part. We're
Hmm.
back. Second part of the book, A Court
Hmm.
of with Winds and Ruin, Aqua War. So this is 42 to the end, right?
43,
40,
technically, to the end.
chapter 43 to the end. Shannon, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Reshea, what is the first point?
Feyre has ADHD. Girl, focus for a minute. Um,
But same.
so do you remember, Shannon, do you remember the part where where she is like had just been saved by Helion in the forest, right? After a certain character has a, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. There's death, destruction all around her, and she's just like, "Huh? It's still so strange to me that Helion is Lucian's dad. That's crazy. Look at his face. You could totally see it. How did nobody else see this?" And you're just like, "Bitch, focus. Like, what are you doing?"
Dude, she's in
But
the
she does
middle
that
of
stuff all the
battling.
time.
Yeah, she's in the middle of battling or like fighting. And she's just thinking, I just want to go home and paint. I should paint these people dying right now. What? Like, nar.
What's your
Right.
take on the painting and all the like the random like off the wall thoughts that she has?
I think when she gets so my original thought is when she has the urge to paint, she feels safe. But
Hmm.
I don't know if that's the case because they were fighting and she thinks that she wants to paint Cassian while they're battling, like while the war is going on. So I
Hmm.
have to reevaluate that because that's what my original thought was. Is she thinks that she can paint when she feels safe and comfortable.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what her like what the trigger is for her. She's like, I gotta paint it. I don't know.
Hmm.
I always thought it was just like, oh, that's kind of pretty. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I worry. Sometimes I think Favor's just not that deep, you know?
Like
Honestly,
she's
that is a
trying.
very good point.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's okay. I'm not
Totally
that deep.
fine. None of
I'm
us. None of us.
so yeah, that brings us to our next point. Helion is Lucian's dad.
Yes.
Yes. I
Okay.
Let's think
did
about that. No,
not. I never
okay,
would have
so
guessed that.
okay, but of course, we honestly, the first time we read these books, we were probably like, just, I want to know what happens. I want to know what happens. So we were just like brushing through them, right? But
Mhm.
honestly, the first time I read this, I remember I screamed. Like, what? I was
Yeah.
so flabbergasted.
Insane.
You guys were the same?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I
It,
was 100%.
yeah. It was
I
just,
remember I remember just because it was so casual and like out of nowhere. It wasn't even like there was this build up into like, Lucian, I am your father. Like none of that. It was just like, oh shit, I'll bet you Lucian is Helion's son. And you're just like, what? And that was like less than a paragraph. And then they're just moving on to something else.
oh,
It
Farrah,
doesn't make
darling.
sense. She couldn't solve a riddle about love, but she can figure out who's Lucian's dad is.
Damn, Shannon,
You know,
you are a burn. You know, burn. I
I
love
love
that.
it. You know why that is? You know that why it is? Because all Feyre gives a shit about is being in other people's business.
And that is a period because if you read these books, you know Farah is always in someone's business.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. She's
Damn.
like she's like the lady who writes the special secret letters in Bridgerton. She just knows everybody's
Yeah.
gossip.
Lady
Lady
Whistledown.
Whistledown. That's the
So,
one.
so what are you guys' opinions on Lucian's having a daddy like Helion? Any opinions on that?
I think it changes like a lot of things because we associate him with the spring court and now we have to associate him with a completely different court. And so like what does that mean for him in the future? And
Hmm.
I just think it's wild because now we all have a picture of what Lucian should be, and it's by Tamlin's side or like with the inner circle. And now we're like, okay, but now there's this other thing that he could potentially be Helian's heir.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, like, so what, do you have any, like, theories about what it's, like, what that's going to mean in the future? Because, like, I have a few ideas of, like, how off-the-wall crazy that could be, but I want to know what you think.
Well, I think, unfortunately, that something's going to happen to Helian, and Lucien is going to be the High Lord, but then Elain will be another High Lady.
Ooh, so you're an Lucien fan.
Yeah, because I can't think of her with anybody else.
She should be with Morrigan. We talked about it before.
No, we didn't talk about that on the podcast.
No, you and I.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that idea.
Go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead.
But I think that would be a good redemption arc for Elain, to be put into a role that's similar to Feyre's, and like to see if she can do it, because we all, like, earlier we just write her off, like she's just this character that we forget about. Like, she has to prove herself, and what better way than to be the High Lady?
Ooh, because then we could have Feyre Cursebreaker and Elain Peacemaker. Ooh.
But you know what? Do you guys think, of course this is a book and Sarah Maas is gonna write her in the way that we all like her, but I think she will be such a good Tamlin-like wife. She just likes to garden. She just likes to bake. She just wants to dress pretty and go to parties. I think she will be a great pair with Tamlin, to be honest with you.
But she can do that in the day court too. She can garden in the day court.
Definitely.
Yeah, and she deserves somebody who has a higher EQ than Tamlin.
Yeah, and
she's been through enough. Yeah, she's been through enough with her dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't make her be married to Tamlin. Oh, yeah. Guys, though, I heard a crack theory about Tamlin. Real quick, can I say something real quick about it?
Yeah.
Okay, this girl's idea on TikTok. I'm gonna have to, like, right here, put her TikTok so that she knows I'm not stealing her idea. Remember the part where Rhys was telling Feyre that he has to use his powers or else he will go crazy from all the buildup of power? Tamlin never had official High Lord training because he was the youngest of 5 sons and he was always just kind of away and everything. And he doesn't really understand that because those powers didn't come to him until he became High Lord when his father died, surprisingly, right? And it's surprisingly stupid easy to break into the Spring Court. So he's not using that much power to hold up wards against the whole court. And he's not doing it. He's going fucking insane from not using his power enough.
Using his magic. Wow.
This is fantastic. This is, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That blew my mind.
Right? I'm covered in goosebumps. Full body chills. I'm like, oh my God. He's just not doing it enough.
Stop. This is so good.
Does that justify his crazy actions, though?
Yeah.
He's so crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it would explain everything. It's kind of like if somebody has schizophrenia, like they aren't responsible for the things that happened. You're like, well, I mean, you still did those things, but you know what? You're medicated now. We can, like, as long as you're dedicated to getting better, then we're good. But like, as long as Tamlin's like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. My B. Like, I'll do better.
I love it. Oh my God, Reshea, thank you for sharing that. Shannon, do you think that Baron knows that Lucien is not his son?
I think he does. I think that explains why he treats him the way he does.
Yes, yes.
He doesn't treat him the same way as his other sons, and that's the only thing that's different about him. Like, so
it's not like he's treating his other sons really good either, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but good for Baron is not.
The bar is low.
He does, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Doesn't send his other sons after Eris. Like, no one goes out up and beats Eris, but everyone beats on Lucien all the time.
Yeah. He's not killing anybody else's girlfriends.
Right? Potentially that he thought was his mate at the time.
Yeah.
He probably hates Lucien so much, and every time he sees him, he sees, the bisexual goddess, that god that is
Helion.
Helion, and he's
Mhm.
just like, I hate you so fucking much. Yes.
Just
Okay.
knowing that he could never make his wife come, but Helion did repeatedly.
Heck yes. Heck
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, what do you think? What are your thoughts, Shannon, on the Lady of the Autumn Court? Like, do you think she should have like a novella or something? We should know about more about her, or what?
Oh, that would be interesting. I would like to see more about her, especially I started to become like super interested in her when she helped Feyre under the mountain. Like I feel like that was so like just random, but it was because she helped Lucien survive, but like
I can't
after
remember
she
how
did
she
that,
helped her.
She gave her
she
a bucket
cleaned
of
water.
water. Yeah.
Oh, she cleaned the
Yeah.
water.
Mhm.
Gotcha. That's right. All right.
Yeah. But like to go out of her way and like potentially invoke Amarantha's wrath, like for something like that, I was like, she's good. Like she's not like her husband, like she's not like Baron. I was like, I need to know more about her, but we don't get a lot about her at all. So that would be really cool to see a novella for
Exactly.
her.
That's why I'm saying, because I see a lot of people like have a lot of theories about the Autumn Court and why they're so different and whatever. But I want to know more about her, just her specifically, because she having an affair with with Helion, one, and to what you just said, helping Feyre, meaning getting out of Amaranta's way and like actually helping Feyre because she helped Lucien. That says a lot about her character. Even though it was a little bit like just something little, it means a lot because it's someone that didn't know how to protect her kid while his her husband was doing all of that to him, right? So I think it's very interesting. I think we want to know more about her either way. But knowing Sarah J. Maas, maybe we're not gonna get
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. You know who she reminds me of character-wise? Malfoy's mom in Harry Potter.
Ooh, yeah.
Like her.
Definitely.
I'm seeing
I
like
like her.
maybe pulling some of her character traits, and like when she bent down and is like, "Is my son alive?" and he just went like
Mhm.
this, and she's like, "He's dead." You know? Like it's kind of giving that like I'm gonna help you at the risk of getting hurt because you helped my son. I don't know. Maybe SJM pulled a little bit from that. Yeah.
Oh my God, Reshea, the next point. Shannon, we're getting into the smut.
Oh boy.
The smut that
Yes.
never was.
That never happened. That should have happened. Like Sarah J. Maas, if you're listening to this, you are hello. Do please, Miss Ma'am, give us a white shoes at some point, please,
Yeah,
please.
we should have had a Morgan Helion Azriel threesome at the very
Yes.
least,
The opportunity was there. They were all at the same spot at the same time. Two of them had sex. Why not add the other one? He
right?
was there.
Can you imagine though, also if she made it a threesome with Mor, Helion, and Azriel, and then the next day they all kind of like stumble out, and Cassian sees me, is like, "What the fuck, guys? You didn't invite me?"
Yes.
You
I
know
can
this
see
girlie from
that.
TikTok that I love, Kate. I think her name is Kaven. She would do that
Oh,
in her videos probably. If
yes.
Kaven, if you listen to this, please do this idea because I know he will. I know he will
What
be
the
like,
fuck, guys?
"You guys left me out. You guys left me out. What the fuck?"
You know I'm always DTF.
But yes, that opportunity, this book had so many good opportunities. Maybe it's because our heads are very smutty and we love
Mm.
a white shoes. But every time I read the books, I'm like, or I remember something about the books, I'm like, this was a perfect opportunity for a threesome. And it never happened.
That's when you pick up the fanfic.
I've 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 found one. I went on to Reddit before I met Susie. I went on to Reddit and I was like, I saw somebody was like, please, dear God, just give me the best. Actually, did I write that? I can't remember. I'm got a terrible memory, but I was like, I just need the dirty. I need fanfic that is a threesome. I need more smut from these books. I'm not ready to put them down, but I'm all done reading them, and it needs to be long and thorough and well written. And people are like, "I got you, girl," and they sent me like link after link.
Why are you not
We
sharing
read them
this
all.
with
I,
us? Like, I'm so mad at
I
you
will
right
go
now.
find it. I promise I will.
You're going to.
Yes,
Yes, you
ma'am.
are. Yes, you are. So, Helion. Any opinions on Lucien's daddy? Hey, daddy. He's bisexual. You guys know.
Yeah. I
My
mean,
heart.
he's
that's
always
canon.
down to party. I feel like he's always down to party.
Yes.
But
Nobody talks about his court is very nice. Like, they don't have any problems. They're always very chill. And I think nobody talks about how good of a High Lord he is.
Yeah. He's probably just spiked the water supply with Molly.
But I think
It's a party every day up in the date court.
What? I believe it. I believe it. I will say Red Bull because he wants everyone to be very ready and happy for everything. But Molly makes sense.
His personality is so different from the Lady of the Autumn Court. Like, she seems more reserved, and he's so off the wall and crazy. I think that's why they work.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why.
I wonder if she used to be more like free spirited and things, or like he pulled that out of her, and then Baron just like beat it out of her, just like.
That was harsh.
I don't mean to make it, I mean, he's clearly abusive. He's obviously abusive. And I feel like he's the kind of husband who's like, you say anything out of line or you embarrass me in front of my friends by being too loud or whatever. And he backhands her and he's just, like, I get that vibe from him. So I swear she probably used to be more fun and like life loving. And then he just squished it.
Can we just say a collective fuck you, Baron? Because oh my god, fuck you, Baron. Honestly, I cannot wait for either Ares to kill him or the Lady of the Autumn Court. If she kills him,
that's what should happen.
I know, right? If you guys are watching this, we're excited about someone dying. Heck yes.
No, we're excited about somebody killing someone, okay? Because Baron dying is like, it's got to happen, first of all, because he's kind of a piece of shit. But if the Lady of the Autumn Court does it, fuck yeah.
And if Ares helps her.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's ready for it, too.
Teamwork. Heck yes.
100%. I'm down for it.
I'm so... Sarah J. Maas, we're giving you ideas. Do not fuck it up. Please.
As if she doesn't already have it arced out.
So we want to talk the next point is something that
take it down.
Yeah, till this day, I actually was going to wear black for this. I decided not to because we were talking about Elain and he's very important to me too. But the Azriel dies.
Yeah.
How did that affect you? Do you cry when reading books, Shannon?
So I did cry in this book, but it wasn't when the Azriel died, but that did crush my soul because it happened.
It didn't make you cry?
No.
No.
That's okay. I'm not judging you. I'm just concerned about my own emotional control. Like, oh.
I mean, I was completely devastated, especially the way it happened. Like, they were in the middle of talking, and it just...
I had almost forgotten about Ianthe at that point. I'd forgotten she existed. And then just the arrow through his neck. And you saw like, oh, that's weird. He's got a new cape. Guess he talked to somebody else. But then you're like, that's okay. The Azriel talks to other people sometimes, I'm sure. And you just like justify it because it's like she's dropping the crumbs. She's telling you something bad's about to happen. And you're just like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's a Azriel. It's fine. Oh my God, it killed me.
Fine.
It's not fine.
For reals, guys, look, I cried a lot with this book. Not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of moments for you to cry. No one, Feyre and Rhys are fucking. No, that no.
No, not that
the
one.
other parts where actual people die.
Mm-hmm.
The Azriel, I think, was my number one cry from this book.
Yeah?
Honestly, yes. Because, the other people that die, at some point, either they're gonna come back or, like, they wanted to be dead, to be honest. But the Azriel, he deserved to die. Sorry, to live.
Oh.
I was like,
oh no, Freudian slip.
But at the same time, I do think that he wanted to die because they're like other creatures, like the bone carver and stuff like that. They're not from that realm, right? So
Yeah.
they've been there forever, and they're like, "Damn, when am I gonna die?" You know. And I think he was at peace dying because he helped Feyre. He told her something. He said, "You stayed with the High Lord," and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. And that's when we are all like, oh, that motherfucker.
That's when it clicks.
You lied to us by telling us the truth? How dare you?
How dare you?
Totally.
How dare you spill that tea?
And you could have maybe offered some clarification. Just saying. Just
No,
an
dude,
idea.
like, and the way he died, like with Feyre, and she was giving him like that warmth, the friendship that they had. It was
Yeah.
very brief, but it was so pure, and I was like, he knew love because
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
It was
Now
so
you guys
beautiful.
make me feel like I was stone heart like Tamlin because I didn't cry.
Okay, just reread it again and I'm sure it'll click.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, yeah.
maybe like I don't know if you drink, but like maybe if you like have 2 or 3 glasses of wine first.
Babe.
Bridget
have to
Jones's
touch base
Diary.
with you.
Yeah.
No, for reals. It's just so sad. And if you haven't read the books, the serial is like a very key piece for the whole books. Like he's just he needed to be there. And he's like honestly he's mentioned like 4 times during the whole books.
But always the most
Yeah.
important points.
Exactly. But you
Yeah.
actually don't know the serial. You just get an idea of the serial. And then to cry when he dies, like to cry for a character that you barely know, wow.
Yeah.
That my heart broken. It was
Yeah. What got me was when before in Akamath when he spills the tea that Rhys is her mate.
Mhm.
And she goes back and she's pissed off at Rhys, which I still don't understand why she's pissed, but whatever. And she's like, hey asshole, drink my blood and eat these flowers. All right. The Suriel told me you're my mate, you asshole. Just eat this. It's gonna save your life, you dick. And he's just like, I'm sorry, did you get a Suriel? And she's like, yeah, like it's hard. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I think the Suriel just likes Feyre because Feyre is just as into gossip as the Suriel.
Yes, that's why they work. Because she wants to be in everyone's business. And so does he.
Yeah. Like, bitch, did you hear what I heard?
Do you know the new tea? You know she's pregnant? You know who's pregnant? The lady of the winter court. She's pregnant.
Ooh, with Morgan's baby, obviously.
I mean, I know this is fantasy, but
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
think it works
possible.
that way.
I'm just
I'm
saying.
sorry if Nesta can do whatever she did on the last book. I'm sorry about where.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I just want to say R.I.P. to the serial. You will be forever in your hearts. And if you come back to on future books, I will be so happy.
Moment of silence for the Suriel.
Yeah.
And we're done.
Love it. No, for real, but we love
and
that
we're
character.
black. It's perfect.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
You were channeling. We were witching. We were witching. Even though I didn't, you were witching.
Oh yeah. So basically then we get to the war, right? The big old showdown, right? And we get guest appearances. This is like a reunion episode from Full House. You have everybody. They're all there. You've got the Weaver, which is who Rhys brought, and then Briaxis, who Feyre brought, and then the Bone Carver, who Feyre went and got in the middle of battle and didn't fucking tell anyone where she was headed. Like, oh, so then Feyre goes in the middle of war to get the Ouroboros, right? Which feels to me like not a last minute task and not something that is like and then like the whole section of the book felt like it was taking so long. I'm like, bitch, you got to get back. Like, what are you doing? Like, you got like 20 minutes.
So fast.
I guess so. Like, and I think she said like for her time worked differently in the Ouroboros or whatever, but it was giving me anxiety. I was like, honey, this was something that should have been done weeks ago. And so she ends up getting the Bone Carver. And then who was it that brought Dracon and Miriam? Was it Lucien? No, he got Voss.
Feyre and Lucien?
No, who got
No,
Dracon and Miriam?
No, Feyre is that. Feyre is that.
Oh,
He found them? But who,
Wait.
no, how did they know they needed help?
Nobody brought them. No. They got the message that Rhys was looking for them. Because remember that they put a glamour on the island so he couldn't see
and
them.
you can't find them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, how did they find out that Rhys needed them?
But let's talk about the Ouroboros for a minute, because I think it's a fascinating idea. Like, the fact that you have a mirror that if you look into it, you can go insane because you see your true self and nobody wants to see their true self. Oh my God, I think that's fascinating. I just think that's such a wonderful idea, because we see things like that in like Harry Potter books and like those fantasy books, other fantasy books. But in this one, Feyre actually looked into it and she saw herself in a very scary, because I've seen fan art and people make it look so cute. No, she wasn't cute. She was terrifying.
Yeah.
And the fact
I feel
that
like people cutify a lot of things that they shouldn't.
That's one of them. And the fact that she just tamed herself within herself and she was okay with it, I was like, wow, that's fascinating. Honestly, that is something that we don't talk about enough. But Feyre, babes, love it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's super important because she went through so many transformations that she had to figure out which one was her true self. Like, I feel like in each book, she's gone through a transformation. So which one was her true self? I think that's why it's so important.
I love it. And it was so scary and so terrifying, and she was just okay with it. And that is the part that, to me, I remember that when that happened, I was crying because we fight so much within ourselves to just not be okay with who we are. We want to be something else, right? And she was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is me. I'm a chismosa. I'm a warrior. I'm a whatever I am. And I love it. And I'm accepted. And this is what it is. And I love that because we don't see a lot of that in many books. Mm-hmm. We see a lot of accepting in a very superficial way, but not in a very deep way like that. So for that, Maas, we applaud you. We love it.
Yeah, it makes me. I was gonna say, like, she kind of. It makes me think of, like, I was like, okay, so how would I fare in front of the Ouroboros? How would other people fare in front of the Ouroboros? And I realized, a lot of people who are around my age. I don't know how old you are, Shannon. I'm 30. I'm early 30s, right? I feel like a lot of us grew up with this expectation of not loving yourself and always having like a kind of a degrading personal view. Because if you're not degrading yourself and you think good things about yourself, then you're cocky or conceited or whatever. I think all of us would be able to look in the Ouroboros and be like, yeah, show me your worst, because I already believe it. And I feel like that's kind of what Feyre was going through. She had a whole moment after she became Fae where she was struggling with, she is physically Fae, but she still has a human soul, and feeling like she wasn't good enough for that. So she's already like, I feel like, especially when she's in those moments of hunger at the beginning, when, she didn't know she was going to be able to take care of her family, and she's dealing with feelings of anger and resentment and all that stuff. She's already faced all of that. And that's why someone like her was able to face the Ouroboros and come out on the other side. Whereas people who don't do that, people who tend to be a bit narcissistic, maybe, and that's probably why anybody who wants the Ouroboros is going to be some I can do it, like they're self-important, and then when the Ouroboros shows them their not so great sides, that's when they fail.
Right.
Now that you say that, I think now that you say that, I think what's Morgan's dad, his name, what was it? Keir. Keir, he had it, but he never looked into it. Probably
he was a coward.
And we love that, because look at Feyre going on. I love her. Okay, so continue, Reshea. It was a family reunion.
Oh yeah, so then we also had Papa Archeron. I'm not allowed to call him Daddy Archeron because it weirds Sussy out.
Please don't.
Yeah, then we had Papa
Papa
Archeron making
better.
his. Yeah,
That Shannon?
he's.
Oh, I
She's-
said Papa Archeron's better than Daddy Archeron.
Thank you very much.
I can't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I wasn't trying to be like Daddy Archeron. I just didn't know another word. But yeah, so we have Papa Archeron, who is not deigned a name. He finally does a reunion with his daughters, and I know what my personal opinion is about whether these girls should forgive him or not, but I'm curious to know what you guys think.
Go, Shannon.
So I think it's almost like we spent like 2.5 books waiting for him to do something, but he did come through. Like in the end, like I think what he did was very helpful. But if I was like Elain and Nesta and Feyre, I would still feel like resentment for him. Like if you could do this now, like where were you earlier when we needed you? You know. So like,
It's
wow,
interesting.
it's a grand gesture. Like it's still like
Mhm.
it's almost like a little too late.
It's like, okay, you did all of this because you have money now. But if you didn't have money, would have you done this? I don't think so. So
Yeah.
it's I get it. And honestly, we can say that now, right? Yeah, he had to die.
Oh, we haven't said
Oh,
that
yeah.
yet, but he dies.
But he has to die.
Spoiler.
Like,
He
he
has to
had
die.
to. He had to. Like, what? Okay, he didn't die. He's human. They're Fae. He's not gonna convert. He literally cannot say anything that they can forgive him for. Like, there are no words. So just
Yeah.
die. And he did, and we love that. Honestly,
We love that he gave
He
his
had
life
to
for his
die.
kids. Yeah.
they had to
Yeah,
die.
had to
he
die,
really
so-
had to.
Because Elain and Nesta wouldn't have left him if he was still alive.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had to die so they would go to the fair, like to over the wall. Like even if the wall's gone at this point, but
Yeah.
like
Into Prithian
He-
and live a Fae
Yeah.
life.
yeah, he had to
That-
die
I
for
hadn't
them
thought
to
about
move
that.
on.
I never even thought about that. That was like the tether holding them.
To the mortal lands. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I never even thought about that. Ooh, that was good. Look at you. It's almost like you're a self-proclaimed Sarah J. Maas theorist or something.
Yeah, it's almost like I know what I'm doing.
We can't hear you, Susie.
But then again, if you think about it, by the way, Shannon, it's like you're doing your homework. Wow, right? He wasn't with them for like months because he was traveling, doing things.
Well, wasn't
Right.
he like the whole time he was like he had heard whispers with all the other town folk that something was going down. So he revealed that he went over to the mainland, I guess, to try to figure out how to fight it. That's what, and then remember, like he was like, we were meeting with all these other rich guys to try and figure out what we could do, and then everybody was like, that's hard, and gave up, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
And then he was just like kind of
Mhm.
lost. He's like, I'm not willing to give up, and then that's when he ran into Lucien and Vasa and all that stuff. I think. I
Yeah.
mean, good for him. Good for him. If I feel like out of the three daughters, I identified with the way Nesta dealt with his passing the best, or the closest, because I get where she's coming from, where she's just like, oh, I'm just supposed to stop being angry all of a sudden because he showed up now and he decided that he was going to be here and then he died for it. And like Feyre and Elain were like, oh, okay, all better now, and
Yeah.
Nesta's sitting there like, I can't just let go of this anger. Like anger's hard to let go of. So,
Totally.
yeah. All right.
It reminds
So
me of when Nesta. Oh,
Sorry, keep going.
Go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead.
it reminds me of when Nesta also wouldn't let go that Feyre left to go to the fairylands, and like Papa Archeron and Elain just kind of like they forgot because of the glamour. But Nesta was the only one that saw past the glamour and was like, something's wrong, like this isn't right, we shouldn't forget. So like now she's doing the same thing, like we're just gonna forget like all of the trauma that our dad gave us. Like it's almost like Feyre and Elain are glamour now, like to what he did, like their like his sacrifice for them. But Nesta's the one like,
Yeah.
no, like we can't forget like what happened, like what we suffered because of him.
You're so smart. Oh my gosh, I just have chills again. Nesta can hold a grudge is what we're getting.
Yeah, but she doesn't
We have silver
justified
flames
grudge.
for that.
Yeah. Sorry, what, Shannon?
She holds a justified grudge though.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but then she lets it eat her alive. We'll get there. Anyways, all right. So the
Just
next,
wait for that book. Just wait for
all
it.
right, next point, Susie. This one's all you. Boo.
Yeah. Varian, he's what, the emissary for the summer court? He's one of the emissaries, right? For the
Like a
summer court?
general or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he works
Yeah.
for the summer court. He's like family or something. He kisses Amram finally. Like, okay,
Finally.
why? Why did I want to talk about this? Amram is one of those characters that everyone is terrified of. Like, she is terrifying. Plain
Yeah.
and simple. She eats blood. And she's not
Yeah.
a vampire. What? And he is just into her so much. And the fact that he has, I said this before in other episodes, and I'm gonna continue saying it. The fact that he has the balls to pursue that relationship. Yes, baby. Yes, yes, yes. Because nobody in that book actually, because I don't, Amram is just not a character that you will associate with romance, you know? But Sarah J. Maas gave her the opportunity, and I love Varian for it because no other character, like you see Amram with Cassian, no, she will destroy him in a minute. Or Azriel, or no, it was just someone that we don't know much of, Varian, and then Amram. And I think that's a perfect combination. And he kisses her, and I love it. And he cries after that. Well, not after that, but like at the war when something happened to her. So I just love it. I love it. I just need to say that. But bye. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it.
Most underrated couple of the whole series.
Thank you very
For
much.
real, yeah. I love that they're like you can tell that their dynamic is probably like she makes him get on his knees and kiss her boots, and he's just like,
But he loves
yes,
it.
mommy. He fucking loves it. He loves it.
He definitely loves it. That's
He
his
says,
He's a
imagine
sub.
if it's, no, he definitely, but imagine if we think that, and then she's the one that goes subbing.
You know what? That makes sense too, though, because how often are women who are subs, they're like, their whole thing about wanting to be a sub is like, "Ugh, I just don't want to be in, I don't want to have to make a decision. I don't want to be in control. I just want to
Exactly.
relax. I just want to like get out of my head for a little bit. I want to be a sub." That could
And
work
he
for,
will
that
do,
could be,
and
work for
he
him too.
will do such beautiful aftercare for her.
What if there's switches and they just like, all right, rock, paper, scissors, whoever loses has to be a bottom.
The way I'm loving this
Is
conversation
that
right
canon?
now,
I
hey,
think that's
guess.
canon.
It's canon now. It
Period.
is. We know they like games. They make puzzles together all the time.
Guys, sinners, babes, churris. This next point, Alexa, please. This next point is something that if we have to choose, if I have to choose one part of this whole big ass titty book, is this one. The moment when Nesta is in the middle of the battlefield and she feels that the cauldron is gonna like do something to the people that are in the air, like flying. And she just, yeah, she screams from like everything in her. And she's like, Cassian! Oh my God.
Yeah,
That
like
My
part.
heart
that
stopped.
guttural throat, like throat tearing scream of just terror and fear. Oh,
I know it's silly, but that was the part when I said, I love her. She was
Yeah.
just deep in love with him and she didn't notice yet. She didn't know. But the way she just saved him, and of course she felt guilty about it after because she only saved him because she only said his name. But that moment that she showed that she cared. Not only her, not only, whatever she liked, she cared about someone else beside her. And wow. Wow, 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 wow.
yeah. This whole arc of their relationship in this second half of the book got me. Like when before the final battle happens and he's got like a broken arm, I think, that was like, and there was a point where Cassian's sitting there and Ness is like, "What's wrong? Where are you hurt?" And Cassian's like, "It's fine." And Rhys is like, "He's fine." And she's like, "Where are you hurt, Cassian?" And he's just like, and he like takes his like gauntlet off. And Rhys is like, "The fuck, how'd she know that?" The fact that Rhys didn't even know.
Mhm.
And then there's like little moments where like he's like sitting there holding her hand and just like going like this with his thumb on the back of her hand, and you're just like, "Oop, they're having a moment."
Mhm.
All of that,
Love it.
like it's like those YA romances where it's just like his hand brushed her hand, but the like it's a very Pride and Prejudice love where she's just
Yes.
Henri and he's like, I cannot tell you how ardently I adore you, and all this beautiful.
I'm watching it
Oh,
tonight. Yes, I am.
oh, I should watch it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, then we get to the part of the culmination of their slow burn stolen glances romance where the King of Hybern is there. Feyre is stuck watching this through basically the eyes of the cauldron, right? And she's almost got like an aerial view of Nesta trying to save Cassian because the King of Hybern has fucked him up. He's got legs facing wrong directions, bones are sticking out, his wings are shredded. He's dying. It's not looking good. And she musters every bit of power that she stole from the cauldron and shoots the King of Hybern just like into the forest, like through trees and shit. But it's not enough.
Or
It's not enough. And she throws her body on top of Cassian and is like, with my last dying breath, I will protect you. And how amazing is it to see a woman in the relationship willing to sacrifice herself for the man who's in a state of need. So often in fantasy books, it's the damsel in distress who, he can't save her, so he'll die fighting, and it was like an opposite. I loved it. Shannon, did you cry at this part?
I did. So like this whole like
the way you
last
asked.
bit. It's okay. I deserve that. But like this whole last bit, I was reading this book so fast, tears streaming down my face the
It didn't
entire
stop.
time. No.
Yeah, the second you're done crying about one, it's another reason to cry.
It's another one. Yeah. It's like the most anxiety filled like section of book that I've ever read in my life, but it's just there's so much. Like you talked earlier about the anxiety when all of the family moment when they're all coming like Braxis and the bone carver. This whole part just full of anxiety, but you can't stop reading, you can't stop crying. It's like just all of the emotions at once. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
so
so
good.
beautiful. And the fact that she just laid on top of him, just like, if you die, I die with you. I don't care. Oh my God. And they didn't even share a kiss at this point, guys. Like
they did.
They did?
They did.
Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah, so
when?
Right here. Okay. Hold on.
I love it. I don't remember this.
Okay. Do you want to relive it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Nesta gritted her teeth, trying to haul Cassian up once more. A broken sound of pain ripped from him. Oh, he barked at her. I can't, she breathed, voice breaking. I can't. The same words Rhys had given him. Cassian grunted in pain, but lifted his bloody hands to cup her face. I have no regrets in my life but this. His voice shook with every word. That we did not have time. That I did not have time with you, Nesta. She didn't stop him as he leaned up and kissed her lightly, as much as he could manage. Cassian said softly, brushing away the tear that streaked down her face. I will find you again in the next world, the next life, and we will have that time. I promise.
Guys, sinners,
Tears.
the way I was crying when I read this the first time. Oof.
Terrible.
Terrible in the best way.
Oh, the best way. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
100%.
I almost started crying again just now reading it, even after all that chaos, dude.
But we know the ending. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we know. That's like, well, listen, I've watched Titanic 40 times. I cry at the end every time. It doesn't matter. I know the end. I know what happens. She gets abused again on the boat.
Dude, but going back to Nesta, Cassian, and them dying, the fact that she just laid on top of him and she's like, if you go, I go, that that moment there,
Mhm.
her whole character just changed. I think for the people like us that we understand Nesta, she
Mhm.
just became that girl for us. Like she's that girl. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, like for me, it's that trope of the tough exterior, the tough shell, you like, I don't care about anything, and then the thing that breaks her is realizing that she's losing a love she never had a chance to have. Oof.
Yeah. And his words, like after that freaking speech,
This himbo has that in him? What? He's not stupid. People who call him a himbo, this man is well read. Yes, he mostly reads books about how to be in war. But I mean, we mostly read books about fairies fucking, so like that doesn't mean we're
period.
stupid.
So it's like Nesta is that trope where it's like the touch her and you die, but it's usually the man. But Nesta is like touch him and you'll die because she does. Like she
I
kills
love it.
the King of Hybern because he harmed Cassian. So like it's the role reversal for Nesta. Like
I
for
love
that
it
I
because
trope.
you
love
know
that.
the grumpy sunshine type of duo.
Can I bring up something with you guys that's a bit not taboo, but like not popular in the Maasverse? And I don't want to think this because I am a Nesta stan till the day I die, and I want to believe that she's the badass that followed through on her promise. But didn't Elaine kill him? Everybody keeps talking about
Mm.
she killed the King of Hybern. I'm like, he was on his way to dying. There was a knife in his throat, like all the way through it. Nesta just like slowly like rotisseried that man's neck, right? Like, I mean, yeah, like she helped, but she wasn't. Everyone's like she followed through on her promise. I mean, wasn't it Elaine that did it though?
I think it was
But
teamwork to me.
yeah, but she did like the killing blow. Like she was there to like watch the life leave his eyes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like that's the
Yes,
important part.
yeah. It was kind of like I guess that like that death finger was less to me like I'm gonna kill you, and more like I will watch the light leave your eyes. And that
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes it less of a uh disagreement between because everyone going, she said she was going to kill the King of Hybern, and then she killed the King of Hybern. I'm like, I mean, but Elaine did like a lot of that killing
But
bit, like the important bit. Like,
like normal, we just forgot that Elaine helped. And
yeah,
I forgot that Elaine helped.
yeah. And she used Truth Teller, the knife that was Azriel's that he'd never let anybody else use before. Ooh.
Right.
Hmm.
Which, yeah. I think that says something, but I don't know what it is.
That he wants to give her his pork sword.
Why? Why would you do that to me? I
Never heard
cannot
that
see
before.
Azriel the same way after this. That was really creepy.
I'm sorry.
What do you
I'm not
think that
sorry.
says? What do you think that says, Shannon? Because you said that it says something, but you don't know yet. Like, what is your hunch telling you?
Well, it's definitely that Azriel trusts Elaine on some level that he doesn't even trust any of the inner circle.
Mhm.
And I think this is where a lot of the like Elaine and Azriel theories stem from.
Mhm.
But what if they're not like connected in a romantic way? But what if she is made the same way that Azriel is made? Because
Hmm.
voices and shadows like speak to Azriel, and Elaine's
Mm.
a seer. What if they're the same, and that's why he trusts Elaine with Truth Teller?
I love how your
Mm.
brain works, Shannon.
I
Like, you're
just
so
made that
fucking
all
smart.
up.
I love it. I love it. There's something that I've been saying in the past few episodes, and I want to say it again. I don't think the people from the inner circle are actual friends. Again, I don't think they know what friendship means. I don't think they know what chosen family means. Now that you said that, Asriel, it's a very interesting character to me. But the fact that he just gave this woman that he barely knows this thing that is so important to him, right?
Mhm.
Makes you think, will he ever do that for like Feyre or Rhys or Cassian? No, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He would
I
die
can't
for
see him.
them.
But that's different though, because he doesn't have appreciation in life.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even how close like Mor and Azriel are, like I can't see Azriel being like, here Mor, take Truth Teller and like save the rest of the inner circle. Like I can't see that happening.
I don't think Morrigan and Azriel are that close, to be honest. I don't think any of
No.
them are that close.
No.
If you sit down and you ask them something about their recent life, I don't think they will know shit. If you ask them something about 500 years ago, they will know because it's an ongoing story. They always like know that past, right? But I don't think anyone knows shit about anyone else in that inner circle. Like they actually are not close.
That's
What
an
do you guys
interesting
think?
point. I think that's interesting. I feel like they know like the idea of each other, but maybe not like who they actually are.
Love
And
it.
I think, like if they all had to look in the Ouroboros, I think that would be very difficult for them.
Yeah.
Like I think they wouldn't recognize each other's true self, like in the Ouroboros, because they don't.
I love your brain.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no way that they'd be able to handle what they would see in that. Because I feel like they're all operating with walls up at all times to a certain
And we have to
level.
understand why, though. Like, their leader, let's put it that way, is a High Lord, is the most powerful High Lord. And we know by the end of book 5 that he can quickly change his mind and say, I'm a High Lord, I'm not your friend. So, like, I think they always have that in mind. That's why they're not 100% themselves in the inner circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They always have a little bit like that voice in the back of their head that's just like, but can I trust them? Yeah.
Exactly. I love that you guys get it because I said that before, like with other people, and they're like, no, they're friends. And I'm not attacking them. I'm just saying I don't think they're friends. They don't know actually.
They have their own connections. Like Azriel is pining over Mor, so he has idolized her in his head, and Mor keeps him like this, just at arm's length. She has a rapport with Cassian where she can feel comfortable around him without like expecting anything from her. But she can't be honest with him about or she doesn't feel comfortable being honest with him about her sexuality because Cassian's gonna just make jokes about it, and it's not something that she's ready to, have people take.
And let's be honest. Azriel still hasn't forgotten Cassian because he was in bed with Morgan. We know that, and we want to ignore that, but we know that Cassian kind of like, if he could kill Azriel and have no consequences, he would do it.
You mean the other way around? If Azriel could kill Cassian?
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing.
Well, yes, Shannon, please tell us, the breadcrumb queen.
Talk about Ambryn.
Is she an angel? What is,
Okay, so my recent crackpot theory is that she's actually, this is Crescent City spoilers.
Wait,
she's
don't spoil it for Susie. Take your ears out. Take your ears out.
Dude, I'm going to edit the episode either way.
No, I don't want. Oh,
no, but
that's right. Never mind.
It's for you.
I edit the episodes either way. I'm gonna hear.
Oh, you'll hear it anyways.
Yeah.
Well, it's.
I know what you're saying. Listen, look at me, Shannon. I agree. I know, and I agree. Yes, she is one of them.
Yes. So my point is, like, my reason, my thinking is that Amryn drinks blood. The magic is in the blood. She's consuming. That's my crackpot theory.
Honestly, guys, do I feel like shit right now? Yes, I do, because I want to know so bad.
It's just motivation for you to read it.
Doesn't my God, it's yes, and then you just brought it like so many layers deeper with that one sentence. Like, oh my God!
Now you have
tonight.
To. Look,
yes. Tonight.
So Amryn's ready to die. She lied to Feyre.
Amryn kind of like betrays the inner circle. That's what we think at the beginning. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Feyre even thinks that she betrayed the inner circle because she's like, bitch, I'll kill you. Yeah. And Amryn's like, yeah, I'm going to die right now anyway. I'm going to need your help doing it.
Another point where you see that they're not friends like at all.
Yeah.
Because the first thought that Feyre had is, I'll kill this bitch right now, right here. And if it's just a friend, you at least are like, my God, she's betraying us. You feel guilty. You look for ways to not feel this way.
To understand.
No, bitch. She's
They
like,
just
I'll kill you
crumble.
right now.
But I mean,
The inner circle just crumbles at that point. Like,
yeah.
because of the betrayal. Or the betrayal.
Yeah, the betrayal.
Finger quotes.
It just makes me think, and I lost the thought. It was in the middle of saying it. What the fuck? Oh my God. I need to.
It's okay. So she kind of like betrays them, and the first thought that Feyre has is, I'll kill her right now. And then what happens? Basically, she explains that she just is ready to go, that the spell that the Azriel gave her is actually what was it? An unbinding spell,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Right.
So, the summarizing, Ambryn is ready to sacrifice herself so they all can leave. And honestly, she wants to die.
I think she's just tired.
She's just ready. She's an immortal being. She wants to drink blood the whole time. She cannot. And honestly, probably the blood that she's drinking is not that good, to be honest with you.
She's drinking goat's blood.
starving. She's probably starving.
Yeah. And I think like I think it was kind of like she wasn't actively thinking about dying, but when she like saw the unbinding spell, I feel like it was not that hard for her to come to terms with it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, she was enjoying herself with Varian. She admitted her undying love for Varian. Like she's like, I think my dad gave me an out. I thought he sent me here to punish me, but I think he may have actually sent me here to give me an opportunity to explore the things I was curious about because of the humans that were in my world. And Varian, I always wondered like how people could love and what love was like. And because of you, I know that now. And it's been wonderful and you've been great. And then she's just like, but I'm ready. It was like she was ready to make that sacrifice. Not necessarily that she was looking for an out, but just that when the opportunity came and it was something that could also benefit everybody else, she was like, I see no downsides. Because she didn't see death as a downside.
It was like the last piece of the puzzle that she needed.
Yeah.
She was just ready to die. They actually gave her permission to leave. No, because the inner circle doesn't work like that. They don't care if you want something or not. They're going to do whatever they want. But we'll go back to that.
Who would be a better Rainbow Mafia character than Moore? Do you have any opinions?
Shannon, we want to know your opinions first.
So,
Vasta? The queen?
yeah.
Ooh. I'm getting
Like
comfy for this one.
bisexual or like lesbian? Or like pansexual?
Ooh, ooh.
All of the above?
Or
Yeah,
asexual.
ooh.
Maybe she just doesn't
just-
like fucking at all.
She gives me very sexual
Well,
vibes, to be
no.
honest.
I think she would be definitely a good character for that. Because we don't know a lot about her. And it would give more somebody that she can talk to about that kind of thing. Because she had a relationship with one of the queens before.
Oh, yeah. That was the Golden Queen's mom. The one that ended up dead on the spike or
Something like that.
I forgot about
why
that.
Not, So why not another of the mortal queens?
Ooh. I like that.
For you, Reshea, who would you put in this category besides Morrigan?
Okay, I swear we talked about this already and I gave you an answer and I can't remember who it was.
You gave me Elain.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Elain, hear me out. She seems like a background character because she's been in the closet her whole life in a patriarchal society that is the human lands, and she didn't want to bother her family by also making them the laughingstock by having a gay daughter. So she just like painted herself in the background, right? And she just like hid all of her personality, and then she and Moore hook up. Tell me that would not be better than Lucien and
I love it.
Elriel or whatever they call the Elain
I told you
Azriel.
already. I love
I'm telling
it.
you,
I love it.
it's the one way that I would not be annoyed like completely by Elain is if she was like, BT dubs, I've just been in the closet all this time, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't hate you anymore.
That would
Me
that
too.
would rip Azriel up inside, because that's who like he wants is more.
The
That
two
would
women?
kill him. That would literally kill him.
Someone would think I was supposed to be born a woman. Why,
Like
God?
both
Why?
he tried with two women, and then they just end up liking each other. Like
Dude, this is
that would
too
be the
funny.
best.
This is
Oh,
just
like-
too funny.
Oh my god, Azriel is Ross and Friends. His wife ends up gay and married to somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
And
Oh my
then
God.
and then the fanfics of Azriel and Eris come true.
Oh.
Azriel will be like, you know what? Maybe I should try man because what the fuck?
Because
yeah.
fuck women, that's why. Then he becomes an incel and he just starts going on the Joe Rogan podcast.
another Andrew Tate out in the world. For me would be definitely Tamlin, gay. No doubt. Tarquin, bisexual, keen, definitely. And I had someone else. Who was it? Nesta is giving bisexual vibes. Even if you don't see it, I don't care. She's giving bisexual vibes. Yeah, so Tamlin gay, Tarquin bisexual, Nesta bisexual, and I have other people that I don't remember. But honestly, to me, everyone in ACOTAR has a lot of problems and they're bisexual or pansexual and they don't know it. That's my. Thank you for coming to my tech talk.
I think everybody should be. I think everybody should be bisexual.
Yes. So, Shannon, when we asked you to come on this podcast and you said, heck yes, we asked you about stuff that you wanted to talk about specifically from this part of the book, and you said two things. One of them was the cauldron almost destroying life as we know it. Why do you want to talk about this? We want to know because your brain, by now, I think you're super smart, so I want to know everything. Tell me.
Yeah.
Well, this part of the book was so anxiety-inducing for me that I had to read it twice just to make sure that I read it correctly. So if you can't tell, I do have like anxiety. So this part was just literally fueling my anxiety attack, and that's why I love it so much. The cauldron made Elain and Nesta. The cauldron made like Prythian, like the world as we know it. So
And Jurian.
one of my my like theories is that the cauldron like is not what just made Prythian, but also the other worlds. So because there's like
Ooh.
oh, Susie's face.
I thought she was frozen for a second.
No, I'm not. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh my God. It's the beginning of the end of everything.
Yeah, so but because the cauldron, it's full of like a ton of power, and I'm wondering if an event like that is what creates these other worlds, and what if this event created another world and SGM just signed on for a 4th book series and we don't know what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, so it reminds me of like events in the other books. This is like SJM series, like universe spoilers. I should have said that before. But you need a big event to create like a portal or another planet or another world. So that this event was this large energy producing event. So what other consequences did this have besides potentially ending Prythian? What else did it do? So like that's why I like this so much, and I didn't make those connections until like recently that House of Sky and Breath came out.
Sky and Breath, yeah.
Sky and Breath, yeah.
Yeah, now I'm thinking like, because it's kind of like, okay, the cauldron breaks, right? And they managed to put it back together, but
the
can
thing
that
is,
undo it?
For us, that was just a few pages, but how long actually that was? You know what I mean? Because time is relative. Like, maybe in Prythian was a few minutes, half an hour. Maybe in the actual cauldron was like 100 years. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh.
So
Shannon,
we don't know
guys.
what that
smart.
did.
I love you,
Okay.
Shannon.
All right. I need to read Throne of Glass so I can be completely up to date before I listen to your podcast because I don't want it spoiled. That means the
Guys,
next book
well-
I'm reading is Throne of Glass.
What do you think? Like, you know how amazing would it be for the last book of Sarah J. Maas being all of the worlds connected, and that being like everything. I know what you're looking like that because Crescent City has something like that. But like for me, it's like
No.
Throne of Glass,
No.
Crescent City, ACOTAR, and the whole other series that she's gonna write. Like it would be so flabbergasting if actually the last book of the whole everything that she does is just here. This is a solution for
Like
everything.
there's like this culmination where everybody somehow ends up on the same planet in the same timeline and they're all fighting
Wow.
together against one bad guy.
Wow.
You know what? That makes sense.
I would love
Sorry,
that.
Shannon.
It reminds me of Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know that because I don't watch Avengers, but yes.
She's too good for Avengers. Oh, and then Rhys is Iron Man and then is sacrificed and dies.
Oh yeah, so Rhys dies.
No, I'm
Yes.
saying like if it was Avengers Endgame and they have this whole thing,
Oh.
one of them has to actually because listen, SJM
he
has been
does.
very she's been very kind. Nobody's actually like dead. Nobody
everyone
important
keeps coming
is
back.
dead.
And honestly, that's something that till this day it terrifies me because that means that one book is gonna be so devastating
fucked
to
up.
us.
Game of Thrones ruined us because now we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
For them
Like
to
we're just
die.
waiting.
For the other red
Oh.
wedding.
Yeah,
Red
exactly.
wedding or
Yeah.
whatever it was. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my god.
So, yeah.
yes, Rhys dies.
Yeah. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. He knew he was dying in order to save Prithian and save he was sacrificing himself as Rhys is wont to do. And he doesn't listen. This is the most fucked up game of Don't Tell Feyre I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
It's only the beginning.
Like, right? It does get also equally fucked up in the 5th book of the game of Don't Tell Feyre. But to be like, I'm gonna die right now, and he knows he's not gonna survive this. And yet he's like, I love you, Feyre. And he's making jokes and he's making it seem like it's some
Years.
lighthearted situation.
Years.
If I'm not gonna read that part
No.
because I could not do it better than Jackie Zabrowski did on last week's episode of LPN Deep Dives.
I listened to it yesterday, and that was the cry I needed, by the way.
Listen to that.
Yes, please do. Their podcast is great. They're doing a deep dive and they're going like section by section, all of the ACOTAR series, and they're hilarious. Yeah. So, but anyways, she did such a good job. Go listen to it, you guys. I'm not going to do it because I could never do it as good as Jackie did it.
That was just devastating, to be
think
honest.
That
And
was like
we're
the
just
cherry on top. Like for all of this trauma that we had, and that was just the cherry on top. I was like, are you kidding me?
That is the way to call it. The whole trauma of this book. Yes.
Do you
It
remember
was
reading it?
traumatic.
Yeah. Do you remember reading it, Shannon? Like where you were? This is to me,
Yeah.
this is like 9/11 for me. Like I remember where I was. I remember what
Yeah.
time it was.
Well, I remember, so I was at my parents' house. I was home from college, and I was at my parents' house sitting on the couch. My entire family is there in the living room, minding their own business, like doing their own thing. Meanwhile, I'm like crying, like living another life, like in another world, like where my friends are dying, my family's dying. And like, I look up from my book, and it's that moment where you come like unattached to your book, and you're like, oh, like I'm just a person, like living on Earth, like with a family that doesn't have magical powers. And I was like, why am I crying over this? Like that was my moment. Like I
Like
pulled the book down and I
somebody's
was like,
visiting.
wow.
Somebody's visiting, like, hey, is Shannon okay? And your mom's like, she's fine. She's just reading one of her books. Yeah, I remember
that's
it was like
probably how that would go.
it was like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning for me, and I couldn't sleep. And I'm reading it, and it started with Cassian and Nesta because those pages go so fast. And I was like realizing that I was waking my husband up with my sobs. So I had to like leave the room and like go to another room and like sit down, and I was just like openly weeping. And one of my children comes in and goes, "Mommy, are you okay?" I'm like, Okay. Mommy, it's okay. Oh my God. It was terrible. Horrible morning. Terrible morning.
But by this, Rhys dies trying to help Feyre repair the cauldron because the cauldron is the beginning of everything, right? And again, if the cauldron dies, everything dies. It's just what it is. So he's trying there, he's doing that, but he dies. And then all of the High Lords, because Feyre is basically begging them, save him. Like, you save me, save him, right? And they do. And there's a part right there that it will forever live in my heart because I think this is a very nice beginning of forgiving this character. Tamlin, the gay Tamlin, then going crazy because he's not using his magic, Tamlin. He says to Feyre while giving him this little piece of light or magic or whatever, he's like, be happy, Feyre. Guys, I was crying.
Yeah.
Crying. That was a very beautiful moment because that meant that in a way, he's letting go ish. We know that by the other book.
Trying.
He's trying, but the other book he's not good. He's not doing well.
Yeah.
But he's letting Feyre go at least, and that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because while Rhys is dying and they are supposed to help him live again, right? Like revive him with his power, their power, or whatever. Yeah. They don't want to because they think that he's gonna come back as Feyre. And you know what? Those motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then
they don't want another one.
Yeah, and like Rhys wasn't there to force Baron into it, so Moore had to come up behind him with a knife to his throat and be like, hand it over, bitch. And then you're sitting there thinking like, oh, well, Rhys is one of the High Lords, so how are you gonna get 7 High Lords, whatever? And then you realize, oh shit, Feyre's a high lady. So then she's just like, I don't know, what do I do? Spit on him? How do you... I don't know. So then they tell her how to do it, and then Tamlin walks up.
Yeah.
He had to be last. Do not tell me that Tamlin does not consider what he's doing and think, what's the most dramatic way I could do that?
Of course he does. We already said that Tamlin will be a perfect reality show TV star. He will be. I'm telling you, he's so dramatic.
What's the most... Am I the drama? I'm not the drama.
Of course. I don't think I'm the drama.
I don't think I'm the drama. Am I the villain?
I'm telling you, he will be perfectly like that. You know, what's the name of the reality TV show that is very famous? Love Island. And like, Love is Blind and all of those. He will be perfect for how dramatic he is. I'm telling
you.
Lucien should be in a throuple with Jurian and Rhys.
We said what we said. What do you think, Shannon?
I mean, that seems very viable. Connecting it back.
Vasa is done with life because she knows she has like this curse or whatever, and she's like, I just want to be a freaking woman in a normal land with a few chickens, and I just want to have a happy life. You know what I mean? Like, she's fucking done.
No birds for Vasa.
No, actually, no birds. Maybe pigs or whatever, but she's done. She's like actually done. But I do love the idea of Jurian, Vasa, and Lucien going down and wild. I love that.
Can you imagine Jurian and Lucien teaming up to take down that creature that has the bargain and like holds the curse over Vasa, and like going through all this shit together because they both love her and they would do anything for her and they just want her to be happy, and so then they unite human and fae powers so that they can Captain Planet style with their rings, like heart, and they just like take down the dude and they release her from her curse, and then she's like, I'm so thankful, how could I ever thank you guys for saving me, and then she's just like getting undressed while she's saying it, and then Jurian's like, okay.
You guys think that for the next book Elain has something to do with Vasa getting out of the curse? I think so. Because everything relates. Everything relates to Lucien, Elain, Vasa. Everything is just, there. And of course, at the same time, Azriel, because he's going to be a big part in the next book. So, what do you think? You think she's going to be into that?
I think that sounds super interesting. And because we need to bring Vasa back into this. And Elain, like I said before, needs to prove that she's worthy, needs to have like her redemption arc like Nesta.
Yeah.
So what a better way than to save another character that we don't know a ton about. So like we'll learn more about Vasa, and Elain will make herself useful finally.
I think we need to know more about Vasa because she knows a lot about Lucien. They're spending a lot of time together, and she's gonna be crucial either for Lucien and Elain to get together or to not get together.
Ooh, what if Vasa brings them together?
Like, that would be cute.
It's like,
what if it's a quadruple? What if they're swingers?
Oh my god. So, Shannon, the second point that you wanted to talk about.
The very last chapter.
And Feyre's death pact.
Ugh.
It's just,
what's your opinion?
When they did it, I was like, this is the stupidest thing that they've done.
Thank God. I was like, is she about to say that it's romantic?
Rhys died, right? And Feyre got freaked out. Like, she went insane in her brain for like a few minutes. Yeah. So I think she was like, no, I don't live without this man.
But it's just, they don't plan things out when they do their bargains. This is like the third bargain that they've made with each other. And they've all been last minute, not planned out, not thought out at all. They don't make like a pros and cons list. They just wing it. And like, I understand that. Like, I'm a big wing it kind of person. But this
we're all wing it girls in this fandom. So
I get it.
There you go.
Sorry,
I digress. Continue, Shannon.
But yeah, and no spoilers for the next book, but it's not good.
It's a stupid decision.
Take that all out.
It was a stupid decision. It was.
Yeah. I love that we're talking about this as if it's like decisions the characters made and not a decision that an author made. In which case,
right.
I'm reading it and I was just like, oh, that's going to be used in the future. Like the second I read it, I was like, I already know that she's like, I'm going to bring this back.
It's one of those points where it's like, this isn't going to end well, or this doesn't age well. Yeah. It's one of those moments.
Yeah, it was a plot device that she threw in there so that she could use it in the future to create conflict. I feel like that's purely because no one else nobody thinks this is a good idea.
Right.
I mean, I've seen people on Reddit saying that it's very romantic.
But stupid. Nobody said it wasn't stupid.
Does she get a tattoo from this bargain?
So it's a mimic of the bargain that they made under the mountain.
Ooh, like a whole full-on. Oh, nice.
Except now she also has a black band around her arm for her bargain with Bryaxis. But other than that, it's the same.
By the way, Shannon, we need to go another episode. Once we finish Silver Flames, you need to come back and we need to talk about all the creatures in these books because they're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
I know. I loved the episode already. Stay tuned.
The Death Pact. It's almost like what Nesta and Cassian were doing on the battlefield. So they didn't make a bargain with each other, but it's the same concept. And this is where you start to compare a mated bond that we already know to a relationship. And this is when you start to think, oh, is Sarah J. Maas pointing this, is she making this connection to give us a breadcrumb or some kind of something to think about with Cassian and Nesta? Like, are we supposed to see this mirror between her sister and Cassian and Feyre and Rhys? When Feyre says, when it's time to go there, we go together. Thinking like when it's time to like die, they'll go together. That's almost the same thing that Cassian and Nesta were talking about during that scene when Nesta throws her body on top of Cassian.
I don't know why I think I can figure out why I didn't hate it when Nesta did it and why I did hate it when Feyre did it. And I think it was just because like Nesta and Cassian, it wasn't like at any point in the future when you go, I go. It
Right.
was in the moment, like
In the
this is all
moment.
they had. This is all they had. Like, it's gonna happen. If you're dying, I'm going to, and that's a choice you can make. She's choosing to go with him.
Mhm.
But minds change over time and priorities change
Right.
over time. And you're saying to your husband slash fellow high lord slash mate, when you go, I'm going to, not understanding or not considering the fact that maybe someday you're going to be parents. And what if that child is an infant and you both died? Now it's an orphan. You want to do that? Or what if he goes to the dark side and he becomes a total piece of shit? Oh, and then he becomes your mortal enemy. And then it's like, oh, well, now Feyre and Rhys can't kill each other because if one dies, the other dies. Like, oh my God, that would be so good.
Amazing. You said that and I was like, yes.
Wait. That'd be amazing. Anyways, but yeah, it's like you're not choosing, because at that point, the choice isn't yours. The choice was made for you by past you who didn't have all the
Right.
information.
And it's so
And you know,
unlike them almost
Mhm.
because their entire relationship, like Feyre and Rhys, it's all about choice. It's all about decision. Like he lets Feyre make choices for herself this whole time, and now they're taking the choice away from each other. Like when that time comes, they won't get to choose because they already chose, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's unlike them almost because they're all about making decisions for each other, but they're
Fully informed.
taking it away. Yeah, they're taking that away.
but then again, I get it from Farah though. Like I get why she would do that. I totally get it. She never wants to be alone. If he dies, she wants to die. I get that. But from Rizan, you've been a high lord for so long. You have to be smarter than that.
Yeah, bitch, you're 500.
She is-
Come on.
Like literally, she's just a woman, and you have a whole realm that you have to, reign in or into or from
Yeah.
or for. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, and now you're going to leave your whole court high and dry if something happens
Like,
to one of you.
are you really that stupid, Rizan? I'm telling you, if Sarah J. Maas at some point, he's like, let me just make him a villain again. Oh my God, yes.
I'd be so happy.
It's time for Rhys's villain era.
Oh,
I wanted him to be a bad guy so bad at the beginning, and like I'm really good at like picking out
yes.
patterns in books and stuff. I can always kind of see what's going to happen for the most part.
It's the ADHD,
And
baby. It's the me too.
probably, yeah.
It's the ADHD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so like when I was reading it, I was like, oh, he's not like she's gonna end up with him. He's not actually the bad guy, you know, what have you. But part of me was like, it'd be so great if maybe he was a bad guy. Maybe he was using Feyre. Maybe he's like, oh, Feyre, come here. I'm going to teach you how to read and blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, psych, I'm using you. Like, I wanted it to be so bad that Rhys was really a bad guy and have her still be like attracted to him. I want to find a book where the bad guy is actually a bad guy and you're viewing him as a bad guy. And yet the main character is still like, I can't stay away from you and I love you even though you're terrible and all those things. I want to find it. It's gonna happen. I gotta find it.
Honestly, I wanted him to be the bad guy and still be in love with Farah, but be the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. You
Yeah.
know, like the actual enemies to lovers, but him being an
Yes.
actual villain and not just like, yeah, he has Valaris and he's good. We love that, but we want someone that is actually bad.
Yeah.
Okay, Shannon, we loved having you today. You are so freaking smart. You're a fun person to have a conversation with. Like, I been craving conversations like this besides Reshea because we always have them, but like this when you actually have your own theories and you are rereading the books and you have so many things in your brain that you want to share with us, and now you're gonna have a podcast and I cannot wait to listen to that. Really, like honestly, this
I'm
was
so
just
excited.
a good preview. This was an amazing preview for the podcast.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. It was a great way to get an introduction into doing this kind of thing because I'm completely new to this. So thank you for having me and taking my training wheels off. Or
Honestly,
popping my
if-
cherry, so to speak.
I was gonna say we popped your cherry, huh? Yeah.
If you want to come back, please don't hesitate. If you have a book
Oh,
that
I
you
would
want to
love
share
it.
with us,
I would love to come back.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay then.
Yes, it's a date. Shannon, please tell our sinners where they can find you, when again is the podcast coming out, where is the podcast going to be at, and all that.
First, let me look up when the actual full moon date is, because I think I know, but I don't want to say it wrong.
She's
Smart.
just a witch.
Premiere date is going to be August 30th.
Ooh.
And it's going to be available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Hopefully
Okay.
other podcast platforms, but those are the two that I'm aiming for
Sure.
off the bat. And then if people want to follow updates, they can follow me on Instagram at Dear Sarah Podcast. Or I also post updates on my TikTok on Moonlight Books Co., which is just my normal like book review account. But the most of the updates for the podcast will be on Instagram.
Yes. Sinners, we're gonna have all of Shannon's account linked in the description of this episode. Just go over there and follow her because you're gonna love the podcast. We love it already. Like, this was an amazing preview, and we know you're gonna just enjoy that so much. So thank you, Shannon. You are amazing. I cannot wait to have
Thank
you
you for
back.
having me.
Anything else you want to say to our little sinners?
Just full circle. Since my chapter is called Transformations, go ahead and transform into your next form, whether that be a moth or a butterfly.
Oh, I love that. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Shannon. You're the best. Can't wait to have you back.
Me.
Because you can't get enough of us, follow us on at Come With Us Pod on all socials. You can follow Sussy on Instagram at I'm Sussy Nunez and myself at Reshea_reads. Or on TikTok, you can follow Sussy at I'm Sussy Nunez 1111 and myself at Charlotte Rivers 4. You know you want to. See you there.
Sinners, each week you're good little angels, and we love you for that. Thank you for listening, and remember, stay wicked, stay wild, and keep reading. We love you. Bye.